Hello, my name is Carlos Agreja, and this is a refactoring of a class that I did. So here is the class that I refactored: Backup Database Tables Dialog, and it's a swing application. This is the GUI, and it has a checkbox list of backups, so you can back up the tables in the database, and you can see them, you can delete them, you can add backups, delete backups. So that's what this does, and it has a pretty much everything in one class. It has no data access object, and uh, so what I wanted to do is simplify this, and I'll go over some of the methods and explain some of the logic here. So set checkbox listener, remove all checks, check all items, create database. This is the original. I have three images, snapshots that I took of the UMLs. But yeah, so there's a lot of methods here. You can see create connection, create statement. This should not be done here. This is there's another class that already creates the connection. This is not needed. And as you can see, drop table, backup table data, create table like, and backup table. Just a lot of messages, a lot of things here. So there's two things that I would like to refactor. I only refactored one, but you can probably see that check, like all this checkbox stuff, it's here because it's got specific code really. So whenever there's a checkbox, it's usually, it has its own behavior depending on the component, the GUI, whatever it is. So they could definitely use a better design using I don't know, it could definitely be more elegant. I didn't refactor that. It's it could use, I don't know, I would think maybe like an interface, since it's something that's being used, but you know, but yeah, I haven't got to that. So what this needs is just the database layer. So that's what I did. Okay, so this is the original. So there's that class, and as you can see, it's got a checkbox. The cell renderer is overridden. And it's got this SQL commands, which is going to be was kind of an implementation of because you know, to access the database, basically like a kind of a universal, it's acting like a universal data access object, kind of, that would handle all the SQL, and you could just return a list of objects and stuff like that. So that's probably going to be getting removed once the data access objects are implemented in the business logic. So, and the database connection, this pretty much should handle all the connections, and it's static, so you don't really see any connections or anything, relations. So yeah, this is the original. And so yeah, these are the classes. It's very simple. It's basically you have this SQL commands, database connections, which I didn't do anything to, but they're there. And basically what I refactor is this class. This class is pretty much doing, it's got all these methods, it's got everything going on. So as you can see, this next one here I'm going to click is another image, and it's the separated data access object method. So basically what I do next is just take anything that's these methods that are accessing the database, that is being used to access the database, and all I did was take them and move them over to a data access object class. So yeah, so here's this class, and it's as you can see, it's quite a lot going on. It's doing everything, connecting the database, a lot of things. So here is the separated class. So as you can see, it's still got these not important. Let's see. Now what I did add, as you can see, is now we have a data access object, and as you can see, all the methods that were accessing the database, you know, to do some kind of logic, and those methods here. Let's see, store, you know, create a database table if it doesn't exist, so this will create one, and get the checkbox items from the database, delete an item, and it takes an int, so that would be the primary key. Add backup record, drop backup record, and it's taking strings here. I might have refactored a little bit along the way. Backup table data, and it takes string. So these string would be the name of the table and the name of the backup. What the yeah. So as a table, it's going to be copied, and we need a name to call the copy. Basically, all that is, and that's how this is handled. And so drop table, and it's got connection and statement again. Connection and statement. Yeah, it will need a connection, but that connection is pretty much should be provided by this database connection class that's already should handle that. So now this database, the class has been basically, I just removed those methods, and still got, you know, stuff like create connection, create statement, a lot of things. So yeah, there's quite a bit. So I don't know, I guess I'll just count and see, just to see how many I simplified here. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, and these are also methods, I believe. So 19, 20, 21, 22, 24. Okay, now did I count this one? It's the constructor 24. Alright, I'll count the constructor 2, 25. Okay. Alright, so there's 25 there, and over here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 25 and 12. And this is when I refactored it. So here it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 25 down to 14. And there was 12 for the data access object. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, as you can see, from 12 down to 6 and 25 down to 14 methods. So yeah, I did refactor. So I kept a constructor, and I do have the method to create the backup, and well, no, the table. So if the table doesn't exist, it will create the table. It's just a method there. That's what that method does. And then delete record, add record. So that's really what I simplify everything down to. It's just delete a record and add a record, really. And so that's what I simplified it down to. And I have two of them. So as you can see here, it takes a backup database table record now. So we can deal with them, the records as objects. And oh, wait a minute. Actually, this is another method. This property, I count that one. Yeah, I did. Well, this returns records. So when it has a P, that usually means it returns something. So in this case, it returns an array list of the database records. And these are just the fields. So yeah, it's much more simplified, as you can see. And now this is the database record. So this has the information of the table, the record. So and that's what is used now. And I created this backup table checkbox item, and so it's a checkbox, but also has information. It can have a record, and yeah, and it returns a record. Well, it has a backup table checkbox. Wait a minute. It takes a record. Some reason it doesn't show the field. It should have a field though. Record. Anyways. So yeah. Yeah, that's really strange. As you can see, it's return a record. I don't know why it didn't show the field. I don't know. I just moved this over. This is IntelliJ, and I'm kind of new to this one. I usually use the J developer, but so that's it. Yeah, that's the class refactored, and like I said, this has a lot of checkbox, like remove all checks, check all items. That would be probably nice to have those in like maybe the checkbox list class, another class. And but like I said, it's a little more complicated because those methods change according to the needs of the component, or what it's being used for. So that might need an interface or something. But yeah, this is the data access object and the business logic that I implemented. So yeah, much cleaner. I cleaned up quite a bit of the code. And so that's it. That's all I wanted to show. And thanks for watching.